Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's spotlight session on computer engineering. This is one session in our series of virtual info sessions highlighting the programs offered here at Lausanne School of Engineering. Thank you for taking the time to join us, and we are excited to share everything you need to know about studying computer engineering at Lausanne. Before we dive in, I would like to mention that I have been joined by Hannah, our domestic student recruitment officer who is here to help answer any questions you may have about the admission process. So if you have any questions at any point, please feel free to drop it in the Q&A. So now, without further ado, let's get started. So before diving deep into what is computer engineering and all the other aspects about the program, I would like to introduce myself. So hello, everyone. My name is Chandan, and I'm a final year computer engineering student here at Lausanne and a student ambassador here. I'm originally from Ludhiana, India, and I'm currently an international student here in Canada. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to be actively involved in the Lausanne community itself. I served as a director of mentorship for the Lausanne Engineering Society, where I helped bridge the gap between upper year students and the first year students. Back in my first year, I remember I was also a part of the YURs, which is the York University Robotics Society, where I was not only making great friends, but also explored some exciting technologies and also contributed to their rover, which was an integral part of the Canadian rover of the Canadian robotics engineering competition. I've also taken part in the co-op and internship program here at Lausanne. I have completed 5 internships, primarily at TD and BMO, two of the top 5 banks in Canada, as a software engineer. As a software engineer, outside of academics and work, I've recently developed a passion for photography, and I love capturing sunsets and scenes from nature. Moving on, we have gotten an exciting session lined up for you all today. We will start by exploring what computer engineering is and walk you through what your common first year at Lausanne looks like, including some key courses you will take. Next, we will talk about the skills you will gain throughout the program, followed by an overview of the co-op and extracurricular opportunities available to you. We will also highlight the various support services and resources that Lausanne offers to help you succeed. And finally, we will wrap things up with some FAQs and a live Q&A session. So first up, what comes to your mind when you guys think about computer engineering? So computer engineering is a branch of engineering that combines electrical engineering and software engineering. So you are not just learning how to build hardware, so like microcontrollers or the circuitry that the hardware requires to run, but also you learn how to write software that makes that particular hardware work. Think of it like using a mobile phone or a smartwatch or even a self-driving car. There's a computer engineer behind how that device was built and how it runs. So at Lausanne, you will learn how to design both the hardware and the software that power modern technology. That means working on things like embedded systems, machine learning, digital systems, or even robotics. So it's a perfect program if you're someone who enjoys both coding and tinkering with tech and hardware. So, looking at the core first year of engineering, so at Lausanne, all engineering students begin with a common first year, and there's a good reason for that. This core year is designed to give you a strong foundation in key engineering concepts and skills. So, no matter which major you eventually choose, it also gives you a chance to explore different disciplines such as electrical engineering, civil engineering, mechanical, computer software. And if you are unsure about what type of engineering you want to pursue, this first year helps you discover what you enjoy the most before making a decision in your second year. Some of the key first year courses that you guys would be uh, that you guys would be taking in your first year uh, would be computational thinking through mechatronics. So it's a course where you are learning as an engineer how to approach problem solving with logics and systems thinking. So it's a very introductory based uh, it's a very introductory program based course, programming based course. So this course is usually taught in MATLAB. And even if you are someone who don't know coding from your grade 11 or grade 12, so don't worry about it. I was one of them where I didn't knew coding beforehand, and I was equipped with it and I learned it during my first year. So that is one course that kind of gets you started with programming. Next is the object-oriented program. It is kind of like the basics of software development. That's how you could write good code. So this is like an introductory based course, and it is primarily uh, taught in Java. Next up we have is the discrete mathematics for engineers. So it is something which provides you with the math tool that you will need for the algorithms and the system designs that you would do in your third and fourth year. And next course that you guys would be taking would be Renaissance Engineering. It's a very new course. It's not a new course, it's a very different course in the aspect that it introduces you guys to innovation, leadership, and engineering in a global context. And it is kind of like a engineering science course, so where you are kind of learning about um, how as an engineer you are looking at a very bigger problem and how you break that particular problem into small different problems to achieve a certain goal. And last but not the least, one important course which is very essential is the applied calculus. So it's a critical math course that supports everything from circuit analysis to fluid mechanics that other engineering disciplines uh, have other engineering disciplines that require the basics of applied calculus. So overall, this first year is about building your engineering toolkit, both technically and 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 creatively. So moving on, so some of the aspects that computer engineering focuses on, and some of the aspects that computer engineering focuses on is that computer engineering at Lassonde is where hardware meets software. So it's perfect for students who are curious about how devices work and how to make them smarter. You will learn how to design physical systems like circuits, microcontrollers, embedded devices, and also to know also to know the program, how to know how the software would run on those hardware devices. One of the best parts of this program is the hands-on learning approach. So from your first year onward, you will be building uh, coding and testing real systems, and you're not just learning from the textbook. And apart from this, whenever you guys would reach in your third or fourth year, most of the courses would be about project-based learning. So it would be like you are learning as well, and you are working on developing. Basically, you are learning theory as well. And on the other side, you are basically applying that theory in the lab environment, and plus innovating those theoretical concepts to apply that in a real world scenario by doing projects. So that's one thing that Lisan focuses on. Apart from that, uh, you will also gain industry relevant skills. So I think there are a lot of skills that are in demand across many sectors. So I think machine learning is one particular thing. Then comes in HDL, which is a hardware descriptive language, and then app development. So the courses have been structured so that as soon as you complete your second year, you would attain some amount of skills to basically contribute in a professional setting by doing co-ops or by doing internships. Moving on that, uh, so this program is deeply connected to co-op and experiential education as well. So meaning you can apply what you learn in classes to real world problems through through paid internships. Lastly, it is an accredited program, so this means that you guys would be on track to get your professional engineering license. So and you will graduate future ready with the skills and experience employers are looking for. Moving on. Some of the curriculum highlights. So now let's take a look at what you will actually be learning in the computer engineering program. So on the left side here, we have a few courses that make up the foundation of your degree. These include electronic circuits and devices, design and analysis of algorithm, which is a course which is very essential part of 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 the interviewing process as a software engineer. Then comes in software design. Then we have digital logic design and communication networks. Uh, so what these courses primarily focuses on is that firstly looking at electronic circuits and devices. So this is where you will learn the fundamentals of how the hardware works. So you are looking at how circuits work and learning about different micro electronic devices such as MOSFETs, um, uh, and uh, and many more other electronic devices. Then we have design and analysis of algorithm, which kind of builds your problem solving and coding efficiency skills. So here, and so this is one of the most important courses when it comes to giving software engineering interviews. And then we have software design. Helps you this course helps you understand the structure and planning behind building reliable software systems. Moving on, we have digital logic design. It kind of helps you about how computers perform operations under the hood, and especially at a binary level. So at the end of the day, when we try to program, so you are using high level programming languages such as Java. You basically write code in the English language, but how the things that are working under the hood is that that particular code is being converted into binary level. So that is mean that you are basically communicating, so that code is compiled into primarily zeros and ones that computer basically understands. But and finally, communication network. So this is where you dive into how devices communicate over the network and the internet. So it's like so how this computer is connected to other computers or my internet or the router that I have. So that course kind of gives you how different uh, computers interact with each other, how many different protocols are being used, TCP, IP. So on the so that course covers about that. And on the right hand side, you can see the technical skills that you will be gaining along the way. So first of all, you guys would be programming in Java, C, MATLAB, and Python. So the major focus at Lausanne is at Java and is that Java. So all your programming courses would be in Java, but the other languages you would be learning in the courses that you would be taking. For example, C you would be learning in the embedded systems course that would be there in your second year, which would kind of build a foundation for how C works. Then we have MATLAB, which is something you are learning in your first year, and then Python as well. Uh, So it tends to give you a versatility across different industries that demand these type of skills. Nextly, you guys would also be learning to design digital circuits using Verilog and HDL. Verilog is one language which primarily focuses on, which is a hardware descriptive language, which is essential in embedded systems and chip designing. You will also understand network architecture and protocols, which are the backbone of all the digital communication that is happening around the world. And you guys will also get an experience with microcontroller programming using assembly language, which was one of the first languages that was used in building software back in the 90s. Uh, and tools like Arduino, which makes your learning very hands-on and practical. So these are not just theoretical skills; they are highly applied and industry relevant, which means that you will be prepared for your co-ops and for your future career. Moving on. So here I have different opportunities and the experience that you guys would be gaining along the way during your program at Lassonde. So one of the best parts about studying at Lassonde is the wealth of opportunities that it provides. And these experiences not only help you apply your skills in the real world, but also to help you grow your network and build your resume before you even graduate. So looking at co-op, let's start with co-op. So co-op terms basically, uh, co-op is something that you guys can do after your second year, and it has a certain amount of eligibility, such as that you need to be done with at least 60 credits and have at least made a GPA CGPA of 5.0, uh, which is fine. And co-op terms usually can last for 4 months, 8 months, 12 months, or even 16 months, giving you a flexibility based on your goals. And from my experience, many students have worked at top companies like AMD, TD, IBM, Edwards, uh, and Qualcomm, and many more companies. The co-op team kind of helps you with getting your co-op. So basically, we have at Lassonde a co-op portal where they post all the latest jobs and which can help you secure a job as well. And the co-op team also holds co-op workshops, which are part of the eligibility and you are required to register for these workshops. So these workshops are essential to build your resume, to help you prepare for your interview, which are a very important aspect for finding a co-op or an internship. So next is research. So there are programs like Lura and uh, Lura, which is Lassonde Undergraduate Research Assistant, and then we have USRA, which is kind of funded by the NSERC, uh, where you can work as a research assistant and get hands-on experience contributing to real academic and technical research. So how this works is that uh, so these positions are usually open during the summer. So basically, professors are doing research over the summer, and they are looking for students who could assist them with their research. So how the application process looks like is that you email the professors who are looking to hire research assistants, then they will interview, then they will get back to you, and then they will schedule an interview with you. And once the interview is done, uh, they will then give you a form and that they are willing to accept you as a research assistant, and then you apply for these roles. And this goes on for like a month or two, and the decisions are made in the around last week of March or maybe first week of April, and I believe that these research assistants are a great way to start your career as well. Apart from this, even if you're not in the Lura or uh, the USRA research opportunity. So there is one more thing that goes at Lassonde is that you could directly approach to any professor at Lassonde, and you could and you could ask them, like, if you're looking for any research assistants, and or you could tell them that I'm very fond of the research that you're working on or you're doing. So that's how the process works for getting a research at Lassonde, and I believe that co-op and research are one are integral part of starting your career. Moving on, we have the extracurriculars. So there are tons of clubs and groups like the Lassant Engineering Society, Women in Science and Engineering, and we also have technical teams like the YURs, which is the York University Robotics Club Society, and the YUSET, which has been recently made, which is the satellite team, and then we have the Lassant uh, motorsports, and then the CS Hub, which is basically the computer science computer science club, which which host different events relating to different technologies, or maybe and these events are a best way to make friends, or even learn about new technologies out there. And if you guys, and then we have one interesting program at Lassonde, which is known as the BEST program. And if you are into entrepreneurship, so there is BEST, which is the Bergeron Entrepreneurs in Science and Technology. So this is a program. So this is a very unique entrepreneurship initiative. So this kind of collaborates three schools, three schools within York. So it is the Lassonde School of Engineering, the engineering school, then the business school, which is the Schulich School of Business, and then we have the law school, the Osgood Law School. So this basically offers the students the environment and the culture to learn how they can use technology to bring innovative inventions, or maybe help to solve any societal challenges, and become creators, and grow as entrepreneurs. So these are some valuable opportunities and experiences that Lassonde offers, and you guys can then do that to help you start your career. Moving on, some looking at some of the student support and resources. So at Lassonde, we understand that university can be challenging, and especially when you are adjusting to a new environment, or even juggling with academics or with other responsibilities. That's why there is a dedicated support systems in place to help you succeed both academically and personally. So one key resource is the academic advising. I believe this is one of the most important resource for Lassonde students, and whether you need any help choosing your courses, or understanding your degree requirements, or planning your academic path, academic advisors are here to guide you. So they're also great to talk to if you are facing any academic difficulties, or just want to help staying on track for graduation, or another important service that student support service that Lassonde offers is the accessibility services. And Lassonde and York University are committed to creating an inclusive learning environment. And if you have a documented disability, whether it's physical learning related, or mentally health or mental health related, you can receive accommodations like extra time on test, note taking support, or access to assistive technologies. So these services are confidential and personalized, and they really help you to make sure that every student has an equal opportunity to succeed. So We will be moving on to frequently asked questions, and Anna would be assisting me in this process.
Thanks, Chandan. You've given such valuable insights into not only computer engineering, but life as a student at Lassonde, at York in general. I'm sure you've actually answered a number of questions that students have had on their mind for a while. I hope we have at least answered some. We're going to continue to answer more questions, especially common questions that we receive on the admissions end or just when we first meet with students who are considering university or considering programs offered within our faculty. But I'm sure we won't be able to touch on all of the questions. So if you have any questions, don't be shy. Drop it in the chat or the Q&A. For those who've already done so, thank you so much. I've seen them. We will get to them and we'll make sure we reserve enough time for these wonderful questions before the end of today's session. But for now, just put them in there because I bet you won't be the only one who has this question. There are probably a number of people watching this right now who have a similar question. So feel free to drop them in there. But for now, Chandan and I will go over some frequently asked questions. So the first question, Chandan, you in computer engineering especially get this question a lot, right? What is the difference between computer engineering and software engineering? What is the difference between computer engineering and electrical engineering? And then now I'm sure with the emergence of like mechatronics, and AI and machine learning, you get a lot of questions about that as well. So in your own words, you can either compare computer engineering to another specific engineering degree or kind of give a general response. How would you distinguish your program from others?
Sure, sure. This is one of the most common questions, and I get that from a variety of prospective students, and it's a great one. The main thing that sets computer engineering apart from other engineering disciplines is its unique blend of hardware and software. So you are learning about hardware, and then you are learning also about how to give power to hardware using software. So unlike looking at different programs like software engineering or maybe computer science, they primarily focuses mostly on software building algorithms or programming, but computer engineering deep dives into how computer actually works at a physical level. So at Lassonde, you are learning about computer architecture. You are learning about how different aspects of different how different aspects of computer architecture are designed in a certain way to work together, such as how the memory components are working, how the logic unit is working within the computer to to uh, to work it to work it as a whole. So you are also learning about circuit, embedded systems, microprocessors, and low level programming, but also do a high level programming and system design. So now if we were to compare it to electrical engineering, so that that program focuses broadly on power systems, electromagnetics, and signal processing. Computer engineering still shares some overlap with electrical. So at Lassonde, how this works is that you are kind of taking four electives from electrical engineering as well. So you are learning some aspects of electrical engineering while you are doing computer engineering, but it has stronger emphasis on digital systems and computing. But if I were to compare it with mechanical or civil engineering, so those are mostly focused on physical structures, machines or infrastructure, but computer engineering is more towards digital technologies, uh, telecommunications, robotics, Internet of Things, and many more. So if you are someone who enjoys coding but also likes to understand and build hardware that make devices work, computer engineering is likely the best fit for you.
Excellent. Um, so actually, that leads me to my second question for you. Again, a common one. And something that's on, I'm sure, a lot of students' minds, right? They're wondering, why should I choose this program? Why should I choose this program at this particular school? And I think those are all very fair questions. So I'm curious. I mean, I know your situation is a little different, especially if most of our attendees right now are domestic students. Maybe they're coming from a different perspective, but I would love to hear your story of why you chose um, computer engineering and then specifically computer engineering at Lassonde.
Yeah. So for me, choosing Lassonde and computer engineering, so there were like a set of things that I was looking for in a particular engineering school. So first of all, what Lassonde provided me and what why did I choose it was the program structure, the opportunities available, the community here, and the program was accredited, which means that you could do your PhD after you finish your engineering program or like the computer engineering. So the first one, the program itself, it itself really stood out because it offered a perfect balance of hardware and software. So the courses were particularly divided. Some of the courses were hardware and software, so there was a perfect balance between hardware and software. And also personally, I've also been I'm I like I, I'm interested in both of them, like hardware and software, because during my childhood days, I was used to be fascinated about computers, and I still remember uh, using computer in 10 years back, and how fascinated I was, and coding, and when I started here at Lassonde, coding became something which I was more passionate about, and so computer engineering felt like the right fit. Secondly, it was the opportunities available here, such as the COA program. It is one of the biggest factors that led me to choose Lassonde, because what I've heard was the core program here at Lassonde was really good, and as an international student here, I wanted to gain some real world experience in Canada, and Lassonde delivered on that, especially uh, when I started. Before starting co-op, I used to think that would I be able to get a co-op or internship, but I ended up doing 5 internships, and those were at one of the two those were at the top two banks in Canada itself, so which gave me some technical skills and professional confidence. Thirdly, I believe the community here is quite good. I believe the professors here are one of the most supporting ones. I remember that when I was coming here to Lausanne to study, I was 2 weeks late. I'm international, as I was an international, as I am an international student. So, um, so I was 2 weeks late due to some visa problems, and I was pretty new to the country itself, the culture itself, how different systems work and different things work. And coming to university from high school, it's a big thing, and the transition phase is is a big factor. So 2 weeks late, when I came here, I was late, and I missed a lot of my assignments, like 2 to 3. And I remember visiting to the professors' officers, and one thing that amazed me was that they were very supportive. They extended the deadlines for me, and they even they even told me that if you require any other assistance, I can hold some extra office hours for you as well. So that was one of the major factors that felt in choosing Lassana, and especially choosing computer engineering in general.
Wonderful. That's so nice to hear, especially since, like you said, coming, never mind, university for a first time, but just entering a new program, right? You're not familiar yet with maybe your schedule, the contents of your courses, and how self-directed university learning can be. It can be quite overwhelming. So it is so important to have that level of support and to surround yourself with good people and to not be afraid to reach out as well. So I think you actually did a big favor for yourself by taking initiative to seek that support, right? You already knew that maybe you were a little behind, so you took it upon yourself to ask for extra help or time or just to see what could be done. And I think, or I rather, I hope all of the students who are watching this today feel empowered to do the same. Just know that there are people who can help you. There are people who are happy to help you. But sometimes, you just need to take that first step or to at least look in the right place. So, professors, peers, academic advising, some of those resources, Chandan, that you provided earlier, I think are great starting points for many of our students. And there are many, many more available to them, but those are great starting points. Another question that we often receive in some form is, how do I know if engineering is the right program for me? How do I know this particular discipline would be the right fit for me? Especially for those students who are not sure, right? So it's great, I think, that we have a common first year. Like you mentioned, one of the reasons, the intentions behind the common first year, which is not offered at every engineering school, is to allow students that time to discover, right? So, do you have any tips, suggestions, or overall just words of wisdom for students who are trying to decide whether this program is a good fit for them?
So back in 2019, when I was choosing or juggling between deciding about which program should I do. So I have like from my childhood only, I was fascinated about computers and so I made like 4 different factors. So I'm gonna share it right now. And so if you think that those are if you're confident about that these are the 4 factors that you are interested or passionate about, then it means that computer engineering is for you. So first thing it is that do you enjoy both problem solving and building things? Yeah, if that's one thing, that's one thing that's good. Secondly, are you curious about how the technology works under the hood, like from inside and out? So that's the second part that that kind of drives you more towards computer engineering. The third thing is that do you like to code but also find it exciting to how to work with hardware, like tinkering around with the hardware or building circuits, sensors, and stuff like that. So that's the third aspect. Last but not the least, I believe that are you interested in creating the technology that powers everything, like smartphones to self-driving cars? So if you guys are nodding your head right now, then chances are that this program is a great match for you. But I believe that don't worry. If you're not, then don't worry, because nobody is 100% sure from the beginning. And first year at Lassonde is a common course, so you will have the chance to explore and confirm that whether this path truly excites you before locking in your major. And it's totally normal to have doubts, and I had doubts as well. But if you are the kind of person who loves technology and wants to understand and shape the future for it, you're in the right place.
Excellent words, excellent words of wisdom. We'll keep it rolling because I already see some questions similar to this question we're about to get to in the chat. So maybe we'll touch upon it slightly. But do you have any advice or tips just in general for someone who is about to start the program or about to start university? Anything that worked really well for you or anything you wish you had known before you started?
I think there are 3 to 4 tips that I generally that I give to students. Firstly, don't be afraid to ask for help. I know that whenever you transition to university, you're always like scared or afraid about seeking help. Don't be afraid of that. Everybody here is to help you out. And like in my first year as well, I was 2 weeks late, and if I would have thought about that think that if I would have been afraid to seek for help, then I would have been in deep waters, and I would not have been here where I am right now. So that's one thing. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Professors are very, very supportive. and they can go and vouch for you as well, and they could basically help you uh, get accustomed to the surroundings, to the course itself. So that's one thing. And and one thing that I believe that is important is to try to explore your program. So what I mean by that is that by your second year, I know that after completing your second year, you guys are going to be looking for co-ops or internships. But starting from your first year, make yourself make your try to explore different things. What I mean by exploring different things is that, within computer engineering itself, there are a lot of different disciplines such as cloud computing, software development, web development, or cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, machine learning. There are a lot of aspects. So I would say try to look for the things that excite you. For me, I think I found it cloud computing, cybersecurity, which I found it in my third year. So that was one thing. But eventually I found which things excited me. So that's one thing, that before looking for any co-op, try to do a job market analysis as well. What type of jobs in the market are mostly available, and or whether that particular roles interest you. If not, then what type of roles that interest you. And thirdly, I believe that try to get your hands as much dirty as possible. Meaning is that try to, tinker around with different technologies out there. Like I know, like artificial intelligence is a very buzzword in this world. I would say that if I know, like once you build your basics out there in programming, try to look for it, like how I can use different technologies, tinker around with them, learn about them, how they work under the hood. Because I know everything seems difficult at first, but if you keep on trying, essentially you would get a sense of it, how things work. Last but not the least, one of the most important advice that I give students is to manage your time properly. I think if and it can help you manage your task very properly. I remember that, once you start your school, your first 1 to 2 weeks are gonna be light. But as the third and fourth week starts to, as you transition into your third and fourth week, you would see that a lot of assignments are coming up from different courses, and and after that you would also see that there are midterms that are around, and some of the assignments would be due around the midterm. So I would say do your assignments from your first, like do your assignments as soon as the professors post them, so that even if a particular assignment or even if a particular assignment has a deadline close to the midterm, so if you have completed it already, so this gives you more time to focus on your midterm and help you get a better grade in that particular exam. So time management, exploring exploring your program, then getting your hands dirty by exploring different technologies, working with them, and then and don't be afraid to ask for help. So that's one of the most important advices or tips that I give to people.
Thank you. I hope you were all taking notes. Remember, no, I'm sure honestly a lot of it is learning on the job, right? Sometimes students who are very keen, excited to get started, they can also be worried or a little anxious because they don't know what to expect. But I think that feeling is really normal. And in fact, you won't maybe know what to expect until you're actually there and doing. But all of you are actually on the same boat. Everyone feels similarly. You'll figure it out. You'll figure out what works for you. You'll figure out a way to manage your time that's best for you, how to reach out, how to build a community to support you, right? So you have the resources, you'll piece it all together sooner or later. Speaking of figuring it all out. So, a number of great questions already in the chat, in the Q&A. Keep them coming. So this one, Shannon, I might defer to you since you have the co-op experience. So one of the students is wondering, are there companies that come on campus that provide like co-op opportunities? And then the second part to that question was, how many students actually get co-op placement? That one's a little trickier because it really does vary year to year. And unfortunately, I don't have the stat on hand, but maybe at least the first part we can address. So, are there employers that come to campus?
Yeah. So, commenting on that, there are a lot of partnerships with companies that Lassonde has, and co-op is an integral part of many students to start their career out there. And one important aspect when I was searching for co-ops as well, one thing that the Lassonde co-op department does the best is to get different companies at Lassonde itself. So they do a lot of sessions like networking sessions with the company HR. So I can see like RBC, AMD, Qualcomm, IBM, and many other companies coming to Lausanne. And I believe I also remember that TD also coming to Lausanne, and I remember handing out my resume to one of the HRs and then applying it online and then getting an interview and then was able to clear that. So that goes a long way. Answering your second question, uh, it that how many people get placements, it depends upon a person to person. I have seen people who apply 200, 250 applications for the summer term or for any different co-op terms. They are able to secure the co-op because you're getting a first job or trying to basically get a breakthrough is hard at first, but once you get a breakthrough, then it becomes easy. For me, example, I would say that when I was starting out or when I was looking for co-op, I applied 200 applications, I believe more than that. And out of those 200 applications, I got 10 interviews. Out of that, I got two offers, but from TD, I got the offer first, so I accepted that offer. So it normally depends upon person to person. So if there is a guy who is not applying that much, so you could expect that the competition is pretty much high as compared to the previous year. So if you're not applying much, so your chances are low. But if you're applying more and you have done a thorough job market analysis that as I was saying it earlier, like what kind of skills that company are seeking for from the students. So that's one important aspect that goes into securing co-ops.
Excellent. Yeah, I've also seen a lot of, so when you see, I guess we don't have a picture on the screen right now, but those that really nice building that you often you see in emails, that's the Bergeron Center for Engineering Excellence. So that's the hub there it is in the top left corner right there where it says weekly Lausanne tours. So that beautiful building, that's our home. It's the hub of all of Lausanne's programs, especially for engineering students. And so our office is in that building as well. And there's so many different events that go on in that building, including industry nights, like you said, co-op sessions, and the co-op team is always bringing in new employers, or bring the same employers, every year if they have new opportunities available to our students, right? And this is a great, like Shannon mentioned, great networking opportunity as well as just to learn about the various pathways and careers that are out there. So to widen your scope a little bit as well, if you're not sure what exactly you want to do afterwards or where you could go with your degree. Another question in the Q&A, this one might be for me, but Shannon, feel free to chime in if you have insights as well. So this student is wondering about the block model available for Lausanne engineering students. This is an excellent question. So if you are not familiar with it, for first year engineering students, there are two scheduling options that you can have for your fall term. Now, I will say there is an asterisk here. This is only available for Kiel campus engineering students. So if you've applied for first year engineering at Markham campus, that's great. So beautiful brand new campus, but unfortunately the block model is not yet available at Markham campus. It's only available for Keele campus first year engineering students. And in the block model, this means that in the fall term, essentially you're taking one class at a time rather than similar to maybe your high school schedule, you're taking all courses simultaneously, right? So if you're taking all courses simultaneously, we know that as the traditional model. But if you are someone who maybe likes intensely focusing on one subject before moving on to the next one, maybe it's due to, your learning style, or you're looking for, more flexibility in your learning. You think you retain information a little bit more when you're able to focus. So maybe a block model is a good option for you. Then typically students will be taking one class for about 3.5 weeks before they move on to their next course for another 3.5 weeks, etc. The only exception is they'll have one course running in the background. So you have that class every week, which is Renaissance Engineer, which is one of the courses Chandon mentioned in first year. But yeah, so essentially, if you are curious how that looks, I'm just going to put a link here in the Q&A so you can see it. If you go into Q&A, you go into answered questions, you'll be able to click into the link, or you can do a quick Google search as well, Lassonde block model. You can see an example of a block model schedule. It is optional. It's not required. This is, I think, the third year that we are piloting this option. And we found in the previous years, our data shows that students did really well academically. The results were very, very, very good in the block model. But of course, it's self-selection, right? Maybe it's students who knew they would do well if they chose this model, so that's why they did, right? But it's completely optional. But feel free to take a look into it. And if this is something you want to opt for, then you can make sure you indicate that in your co-application, which included your engineering program guarantee. Okay. If you have any questions about that at the end of the session, I'm going to drop my email for you so that you can send questions my way. But Chandon, this other student's wondering about choosing the right laptop. So do you
Yeah.
have any recommendations? They're including some more technical language there. So
Yeah, sure. So I would say that whenever you're looking for getting a laptop, so minimum 16 GB of RAM is a minimum requirement because you're gonna do some heavy computations that laptop should be able to handle. 16 GB of RAM, and I would say go for a Windows laptop. If you would have been a software engineering student, so I would have recommended you to go for Mac. But why I'm saying Windows, because I have been using Mac for the past 6 years, but what are the main restrictions that I had with Mac was that there were some particular hardware related software that I wasn't able to install. So I had to do some labs in the lab. So so that was one thing that I wasn't able to do labs at home. But if you want to get a Mac, you can. But if you're comfortable to commuting to Lassonde or to the labs at as well in person and doing the lab over there, so that would be fine as well. But minimum 16 GB of RAM should be fine, and a 256 GB of SSD storage should be good as well. So I hope this clarifies the answer.
and also, if you missed that or you're wondering about what other specs your laptop should have, in the next week or so, you'll also receive an email with your digital starter pack. So, in other words, everything you need to know before you start your time here at Lassonde. And in that pack, you have a digital brochure, which includes tech tips, recommended specs, all of that. Okay. So you can see that as well later on. But as Chandon mentioned, minimum 16 gig RAM should do you well, should serve you well. Um, oh, a very simple question, Chandon. What is the minimum GPA required for engineering?
Oh, so I would say the minimum GPA required if you are graduating or anything that you should maintain during your last 4 years or 5 years is 5.0, which is a C plus, which I believe that if you are attending the classes, that should be fine. And there is one other GPA that is known as the ECS GPA. So that is something which is for the computer engineering courses or like the computer, like the ECS courses, like the electrical or the computer engineering department courses, that the department that offers those courses have a certain GPA that you guys need to maintain, which is of like a 4.5. So it's like out of all the ECS courses that you are taking in your previous year or maybe about to, you should maintain a 4.5 to take any future ECS courses. So that's one aspect. So minimum CGPA overall should be 5.0, but and ECS should be minimum of 4.4, 4.5.
And like Trendon said, very achievable. I don't think I've yet encountered an engineering student who said, wow, it's really difficult for me to achieve this grade. I think um, it's reasonable for an engineering student. And we hope we have strong engineers in our society. So that's why obviously there are some academic requirements, but nothing too crazy. Um, Another question, I guess, on the opposite end of academics is work-life balance. So this student is wondering, would working a part-time job while studying, maybe with a full course load too, would that be a good idea, especially if they're choosing a block model? So I can answer that part afterwards, but maybe we'll talk about the work-life balance part first, especially since if they're coming from high school, maybe like we said, it'll be a little bit of a bigger jump to university. So they're just wondering how hard is it to kind of balance academic workload with other things.
I would say that if you are starting out and you want to get, like, if you're looking for any part-time opportunities and all, I would say, first of all, give yourself like 2 semesters, which is your first year, to look at how we are going, how the university lifestyle works. Like you transitioning to university is a big thing, and it's a big step in uh, uh anybody's life. And if you start doing part-time and then trying to do your studies as well, and you tend to juggle between those two, so it's like giving priorities outset, and you won't be able to balance those properly, because at university you have to attend classes, and whenever you are doing part-time opportunities, sometimes those will uh, those two will conflict with each other. So I highly believe that give yourself some time, maybe a year, like the first 2 semesters, get accustomed with the university lifestyle, know like how the system works, and maybe during the summer, you are lucky enough to find any part-time opportunities available at York. So there's one thing at York that Lassonde has, or the York has, is the work study option, which is like you are studying as well, and then you are working as well, and the minimum amount of hours are around 15 hours a week. So that is something which is doable, and I also believe that some of the work study opportunities also help you to get you accustomed with new technologies, help you make new friends within Lassonde. So that is something which you can look into it as well. So I would say give yourself some time, first 2 semesters, to get accustomed, and then maybe you could look into part-time opportunities.
I think that's really excellent advice. Of course, we don't want to discourage any student that feels like they, want to or need to work right during the school year. Like you said, Chen, and there are options, and many of our students do work study placements, right? Even our student ambassador team, like you working for us, it's a work
Yeah.
study position, right? And so there are many opportunities available to our students. But I hope if you have the ability to maybe like Shannon said, take it easy, or I don't want to say take it easy. I don't think any engineering student has ever said the words but if you want to, maybe if there's one year to hold back a little bit on things outside of academics, it's first year. There is a lot going on. You're adjusting, like you said, to a lot, not only academically, but mentally, emotionally as well. So if you have that privilege, you can, not overwork yourself. I would recommend exploring that option. That being said, the block model could potentially be a better fit for if you're looking for part-time work or other extracurriculars, because students in the block model study on campus for 3 days a week, and then they're hybrid, or sorry, they're studying remotely for 2. So that's another benefit of the block model, is the way the classes are structured. You're not required to be attending in-person classes every single day of the week. So if you are able to, if you're pretty self-directed, or if you're able to manage your schedule, depending on when those remote, depending on how remote learning looks for you, you could potentially, fit those few hours of work in every week. For part-time or personal projects, or you know athletics, any of that, right? Another option, I was thinking about this when Chandan was talking about balancing, or rather adjusting to a busy schedule, especially for engineering, is, if possible, taking advantage of the optional summer term that is available. So some students will, maybe if they know a course is available to them in the summer, they might take a slightly lighter course load during fall winter terms, and take a course over the summer. So if that is something that is of interest to you, or you feel like you could do if you're available during the summer, speak with an academic advisor, right? They can help you kind of build that schedule, or let you know which courses are offered during the summer, so that you can be strategic in your enrollment. But again, sometimes that might be a little bit further down the road after first year, but still an option available for you there. Okay, so hopefully we helped answer that question.
I would like to expand on one more thing, Anna. Like as you said about taking summer courses and just about structuring your degree itself. I get that a lot from students in the Lassane community, the Discord channel that we have. Like, how many courses we should take in each term or not. I would say like it's totally up to you, like how you want to structure your semesters. Like maybe take 3 courses per semester, or maybe 4 courses per semester. So that is where academic advisors comes in, as Anna says. And I also remember after my first year going into the academic advisor's office, and seeking their help to, how should I go about my structuring my courses, and stuff like that. And I also remember taking like 4 courses per semester rather than taking 5 courses per semester, because it kind of gets you off the load, and doesn't tend to burn you out whenever you're taking courses. So that's one thing. You can structure your degree as per your needs, and as per the amount of things that you can take up in a particular semester.
And then building off of that, I'm just going to answer this follow-up question for the student. Building off of that, this one might be actually for me. What are the next steps after you accept your offer? Great, great question. So if you've already accepted your offer, especially if you're a Ontario high school student, you would have done that, I'm assuming, through OUAC or OUAC. So when you log into your My File, which is the portal I'm sure you've already have been introduced to, when you log into your My File, you'll see in the left-hand side, there's a tab there that says something like book your enrollment appointment, or find out more about your enrollment appointment. So that's your immediate next step, is to look at booking a slot for your enrollment appointment. Read the page carefully, because there are some online options, there are some in-person options. It may be a little early yet for the in-person option. You can double check there, but essentially if it's the online option, you'll receive all of the information you need for adding your courses in one comprehensive email package on the day that you've booked. If you've booked an in-person appointment, you'll receive information on where to go and when to attend that session. And an academic advisor is going to just give you that package, but in person. Both methods are fine. It's just to accommodate for the variety of students that are coming in. Not all students can make in person. Not all students want to come in person, right? So I would say would be your immediate next step. And then after that, for our domestic students, which I believe might be a majority of you, would be then to pay your deposit. Okay, so it is a $300 non-refundable deposit. It's a deposit, not an additional fee, which means all you're doing is you're paying that money. It goes towards your tuition anyway, and it's just to secure your spot in those classes that you've added. So you can make that payment after your enrollment appointment. If you're an international student, I'm sure you've already received this information. It's a little different because you will need your PAL letter. So that would require the deposit upfront first, and it's a different deposit. So just make sure you pay extra attention to your email, all those comms that we sent out to you, and how to pay that deposit and the timing of it. Okay. But I would say those are the main two next steps: enrollment appointment and deposit. And the order of it would just depend on whether you're international or domestic. For where to find the recording of this session, we are a little after 6. So I am going to actually take this as a cue to kind of go into our conclusion here. But we will be posting all of these sessions, recordings online. So if you actually take a look at your screen right now, in the top right-hand corner, there's a QR code. You can scan that QR code. It'll bring you to our Discovery Days website, which includes the schedule of all the spotlight sessions that we've done so far, including today's, which is the last one. So in the next week or so, I hope to have all of these recordings uploaded directly on that website for you to revisit, okay? So just keep an eye on that. You might also receive an email from me once they're all available to let you know that they're there waiting for you, okay? I know there are a few other questions here in the chat, so I'm more than happy to stay behind to answer them. But since we are over time, Chandan, I'll hand it over to you to just wrap us up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you all for joining. And if you guys have any more questions after today's session or would simply like to stay connected, so here's how you could scan our QR code, so which is on the top right corner, as Anna said, to visit our Discovery Days website, where you can explore upcoming spotlight sessions, student panels, and more ways to discover Lassonde. Register for a weekly Lassonde tour to visit our campus in person and get your questions answered directly, and join the Lassonde community on Discord to connect with the current students and get real insights into academics, campus life, and extracurricular activities. We hope to stay in touch, and we look forward to welcoming you to campus soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Chandan. Thank you, everyone. We hope to see you soon. And right there on the screen, as Chandan's sharing with you, is the email address for our team. So if you have any questions specific to your application, if they're a little bit more complicated, too complicated to put in the Discord, feel free to to send us an email there. But otherwise, like Chandan recommended, Discord is probably the quickest way to get a response to your question, because we have we have a number of students, current students in there to help support you. Okay, so feel free to reach out to us in those ways. Thank you very much for attending. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. If you've left a question for me here in the chat, don't worry, I'll stay behind and make sure they're all answered. Okay, all right, everyone, take care.